Welcome back.
Welcome back.
Not a Tool Power episode
20.
20.
20.
20, I think.
Yeah, probably.
Holy smokes.
Flying
That's crazy.
in the venties here.
Yeah, the
Mhm.
Venties. Just call us Starbucks because we're a Venti.
I like Starbs.
Yeah, Starbucks is okay.
Yeah.
So where you been? They missed you on the last one.
Yeah, no kidding. I'm back, and we switched spots too. So
Oh, and I
we're
got the
just
fancy
throwing
chair.
fancy chair.
I'll give you the fancy chair.
Not a chance. Put me in my spot here.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's been a couple weeks.
Yeah.
We had I don't know if you guys been listening here, but we had a little event that went on
Mm-hmm.
called Keystone
Keystone, number 2.
number 2.0. And yeah, so I've been doing that, and now that that's over, let's dig into that sucker, dig
Yeah.
up everything that happened. Quite the day.
Yeah. We covered a little bit of it last time.
Mm-hmm.
Saul's he wasn't here.
Mm-hmm.
But again, that was just kind of my very off the top of my head.
Yeah.
What I could
Initial
remember.
thoughts.
Initial thoughts based on some scribbled out notes that I couldn't read.
Yeah.
But this is what I did. I sat there in the stands and I made some notes.
You're scouting.
And look at this. Winner.
Selmar Riley.
And where was the end there? Look at that. Question mark. Yeah, see, I was already.
Jen? Yeah, Jen?
Yeah, question mark, right? So I was paying attention.
Yeah.
I couldn't see the score from where I was sitting, so
Mm-hmm.
I had to actually calculate it the whole way.
Yeah.
And it was exciting, but kind of got there in the end.
Yeah. And then, so this year, that's a couple things that we changed was in terms of production, on the production side of showing the live scores on the screen, if you have like 20 small names on the big projector, it was pretty blurry. So we're like, okay, let's just have a dedicated projector screen of the live scores.
Yeah.
So we noted on that a couple times that if people wanted to see, some coaches came and popped up there. And then the other thing is we did a Keystone breakdown of what the whole meet, how that's determined initially.
Mm-hmm.
Then we did a summary after squat, and then a summary after bench. What next year, what we'll have to do is one after deadlift too.
Yeah.
Because everyone was, as everyone gets juking and jiving for the heaviest pull, they're like, well, they pulled for the win, but it was likely for a PR, or in some cases, as we'll find out, for the win as well.
Yeah.
But unbiased opinion, we had some, I would say, Wi-Fi issues with the lights that were really odd.
That happens all the time.
Yeah, but it worked last year.
Yeah.
So that's why I was like, I don't know what's happening. So on that side, that we had some flags with the referees and stuff like that. So intermingled with that was not ideal. As Dino let everyone know on social media, it was also the Jets game 1.
Oh,
yeah.
Jets game 1.
So I'm surprised you were even there.
Yeah.
I'm surprised you even came to Keystone. Well, maybe you went to the whiteout party after.
What a conflicting calendar.
Yeah.
I was double booked that day.
Yeah. So it was Jets game 1. So, and we were in the thick of it. So everything was at Portage Place. So luckily, everyone that got there had parking prior to the gong show starting. But in terms of attendance, I think we were right around where we were last year. And in terms of prizes for I'll stick with my unbiased still. So, and we elected not to have vendors this year just because our feedback from the vendors last year was, as the meet was happening, like a lot of people didn't leave their seats.
Yes. Yeah.
So there's, out of the 4-hour event, there was probably like 45 minutes where there was a lot of action, and then the rest of it, there wasn't a lot of action until the very end.
Yeah.
So it wasn't very how it was laid out, and in terms of the length of the meet, wasn't very lifter friendly unless we open it up ahead of time and we make it more of a day event and lifting occur at the end of it. And then on the sponsorship side, I liked what we did this year because that was one of my goals from last year to this year was how do we get kind of more eyes on the sponsors, right? So before the meet started and between each break, we had a sponsorship slide that went on that had all the different sponsors on it. And unfortunately, we had some lifter bomb outs, which led to, and I was on the MC. So I think hindsight, like we had 3 tiers of MCs. We had our lead that dropped out a little bit further in advance, and then our backup pulled out a couple weeks out, and then our fallback couldn't make it.
Jeez.
So
see, you alluded to a surprise MC last time. I was like, I could have MC'd. I would have done that.
Yeah. So, but that was good because when there was people that made an attempt but then passed on their other attempts, and there was only 10 people in the flights.
Yes.
So like instead of just scratching it, time it out, which is very good as a lifter. Very nice to do that. But then as an MC, I was like, okay, everyone's kind of revved up and then everyone's just sitting for a minute. So I talked about the sponsors. I talked about some events coming up. But so in hindsight, I do like that it was me or somebody that was showed more support to the sponsors. And I kind of alluded to that some in most events like this, it's kind of like it could be and not in all senses, but I just alluded to that in some senses it's like discounts or something, prize packages to the lifters, whereas this it was all cash from every business there. One Family Fitness. Oh, not even in. See, this is messing me up. I can't even afford.
I would show them this logo, but I only got 75% of my logo printed. I had to draw the rest on.
Oh, really? Wow, ruthless.
So I
Keystone.
I have to upgrade my tier for my entire logo.
Whoever pasted that together made a major mistake.
I know. I paid like 10 grand for
the
copyright.
Like
the trademark.
Yeah.
The trademark.
CR. Yeah. Damn. Wow.
Couldn't even flex it.
Not even at Keystone, but on the big screen it was there.
Yes.
We had a full logo there.
I took a photo.
There we go.
Yeah.
But yeah, so all those logos there, everyone paid money. So on that sense, and then so that's unbiased, and then biased opinion.
Best event ever.
I said that I didn't say this last year because I was more overwhelmed with running it and making sure it ran smoothly. But this year I'm thinking like, okay, I've been in powerlifting since like 2016. I've probably gone to 3 to 6 events a year. So if that's like 30 plus events.
For sure.
I don't know that math.
Yeah.
But, and like some big events. And that was the only meet that I've been at that people were standing. I mean, I forced people to stand and cheer, but that was the only meet that I've seen and felt that much energy. Like into the last couple of like the last 5 deadlifts, I was making sure that people were getting revved up and getting ready to get the lifters. And man, if Andrew made that last deadlift, that would have been so electric. And it was still electric in there, but man, I was feeling for him for just missing that because that was, I think, like, and the theater too, so it can get really loud in there.
Yes, yeah.
So I was so revved up about that. And on terms of the amount side, so we raised more than over $1,000 more for the lifters. And we did it differently this year compared to last year. Because with last year, how we did is if lifters sold a certain amount of tickets, then we gave them a ticket to hand out. And so we had a lot of free tickets last year that we were giving out. And this year, we kept track of lifter sales. So you could use like their coupon code, and then they get a commission from that ticket.
Yeah, that's an incentive.
Yeah. So then that's additional to like the prize pot as well. So that has nothing to do with their performance on the day. That's just in terms of people coming out and supporting them.
Cool. So you could probably retire off of this. Not you.
Well, not me. So these lifters can retire.
The lifters, not you.
These lifters can retire.
Oh no.
But yeah, I think yeah, on that end, um, and another thing too is like as the meat gets teared down, like definitely a full shout out, like Dean Smith.
Mm.
Like no
Yeah.
matter what meet he's at,
Yeah.
he's just a dog in
Yeah.
terms of volunteering. Like you can't say enough nice things about that guy sticking through. And I was the absolute worst human being
Yeah.
because I got
Yeah.
tickets to the Jets game the day before,
Oh no.
and the game started at 5.
Oh.
So I was hustling, bustling, but I told Curtis, uh, other meet director Curtis Delaire, that, hey, dude, like, I called him the night before and I was like, I got tickets.
You're on your own.
Figure it, yeah, figure it out. I was like, I can't. It's just like you can't say no
Yeah.
to that game 1 of the playoffs. They just
Right.
they like essentially were the best team in the league. I was like, how do you? And I said to him, and I stand by this because I'm in a different position saying this, but if he came to me and said that, I would have been like, we'll figure it out. But
Mm.
so he ended up filling and a venue like that. So like if anyone's ever cleaned up a venue, usually it's like a trailer packed or trailer backed up to the back of the venue, and you just kind of slam things in there. But at Prairie Theater, it's like a storage elevator that you take shit down,
Yep.
and then you shovel it down in. So there's a big bottleneck of things. And in terms of the warm up area and that, like it was, you had to shuttle things, you had to travel.
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
Dean, Kurt, his girlfriend Mercedes were there. Like my wife was there, and like we had a couple volunteers that stayed behind, but not a lot of volunteers
What?
stayed behind for the teardown. Which
Easy volunteer credit.
Manitoba Powerlifting Association volunteers,
Come on.
I'm watching you, and the other people who I'm watching, and this may be a bold statement, but I haven't seen this happen before of a lifter winning
Mm-hmm.
and then staying back
Mm-hmm.
and helping tear down.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And Selmar Antienza won,
Yeah.
stayed back, helped clean up Janelle Vandenbosch, defending Keystone champ, had a solid meet as well. Um, didn't win, but had a great meet, stayed back, helped tear down. And Riley Bresky stayed back, helped tear down as well.
Way to go.
And so like I had, and maybe it could be a desperation that they're like, holy shit, there's nobody here.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah.
But it could have also been like, I think
Maybe they just had more in the tank.
they had more to take. Yeah. What are you doing? Yeah. But no, that I was really pumped to see that, and just like we will send the questionnaire. Well, it's been sent out already once this comes out, but after last year we got some feedback from the athletes, and this year we had a lot of lifters came up to me afterwards, probably 70% of them, like telling me how their experience was. And yeah, I think like just the energy, the cash, like um, biased opinion again, I think at the end of it, it flowed a lot smoother this year in terms of getting the crowd to understand how a winner was determined, what kind of was going on, um, and sort of that like awards and stuff like that. I think that was a little bit smoother this year, and so I think that was great. But yeah, I was really happy with how it went.
Excellent.
Mm-hmm.
Good.
So should we get into the meat of it?
We should get into the meat of the meat. Question: do you know who we predicted would win?
You were thinking, I'm pretty sure you said Selmar for men,
Yeah.
and you did predict either. You were close, so I think you're 50% right with either Bresky or Ladanian.
Right.
We're gonna
Yeah.
bomb out, and they didn't bomb out, but we had 3 other people bomb out.
Yes. Yeah.
And we had a lot of people miss squats, which I was excited to see, but not excited to see.
Yeah. Yeah. There was a lot of red on those thirds.
Yeah, and I was I was excited to see that because like people push it. I wasn't excited to see people get injured.
No, and there was a lot of injuries too.
Yeah, there was a lot of injuries.
Seeing people do for 1,000 bones.
Yeah, yeah, $1,000+ on the line,
Yeah.
and that's where I was. That's what I was pumped to see because, and you saw a little bit different strategy of it. There was a lot. There was, I think, 3 9-for-9 meets.
Yes.
Um,
Tom, Renee, and Jasmine.
yeah, and then Tom, Renee, and
Jasmine Porter.
yeah. Oh yeah, Bailey just missed one. Jasmine Porter, like that was. Well, we'll get into her when we get into the rankings, but yeah, that was I think a great meet for her. But in terms of the injuries, like Jimin Ryu, like that was
And that was
that was a brutal injury on his squat.
second squat?
Third
squat. Yeah, so he missed his first, went up 10, missed his second, and then
Yeah.
on his third he hurt himself.
Yeah,
That's
and
crazy.
he buried it. So that was I hated seeing that. And as a meet director, as a person that's been following this, that doesn't know him very well, but like chats with him through like the Keystone stuff, and like these guys are all pushing. It's a very unique meet, and yeah, usually in any, say if you go into a meet and you have 4 people in your class, you're like just managing gaps.
Mhm.
So you're like, I know I need to hit this
Mhm.
in my squat, and I'll be happy. I would love to hit this. So, but then when you're competing against 10 other males, you're like, I need to like blow the doors off every single lift, and that's where you saw so many red lights.
Yeah.
So that was, I mean, that's where that came into it. And I think going forward with Keystone, I hope like coaches and lifters realize that you can potentially anticipate that people are going to miss just because they're all gas, no brakes on every single lift, that they're not managing any gaps or energy potentially. But yeah, so in terms of bomb outs, so we had 3 lifters that didn't register a total. Jimin Ryu, unfortunately, his was, I think, not downplaying the others, but a little bit more dramatic potentially.
Very dramatic. And as a spectator, like seeing that. I've seen a lot of fails in my time. Like you, I've been to at least 60 meets. That was the craziest thing because he fell under the plates and the spotters saved him.
Yeah,
but he was like under the weight.
Plate. Yeah,
and I've never seen that before.
Yeah,
ever.
Yeah, so they saved his life twice.
Yeah,
they saved him from falling because his knee buckled, and so his knee buckled. He grabbed his knee because he couldn't stand up with it, so he was injured, and then he fell back, and then the lifters caught it as he like fell under the weight.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it was just a freak accident and stuff like that.
But I had clients come into the gym that week and were like missing squats because they were afraid to fail.
Yeah.
Seriously, like people that watch that event,
Oh, no.
they're in here working out. It's 2 weeks out from provincials, and they're like terrified.
Yeah.
Because they've never seen anything like that.
Yeah, well, that's a fight or flight. That's how you train that fighter. Yeah. I've only seen one more, and that was that last Nats, that guy that Konak or Cognac. That
is it the exploding arm?
Yeah, that was the only worst one that I've seen.
Yeah, that was terrible.
And witness spotting and loading. Yeah. That was, so we had that, and then Taylor Smith, I think, ended up on her bench hurting her shoulder, or re-aggravating her shoulder, and then didn't elect to take any deadlifts. And then Christina Sudoma, which I think was definitely in the running.
Oh yeah.
Like more, she was after bench. I believe she had
after
a solid
bench. I had
lead.
her, right here, female lead, Christine.
Yeah, Christina. Damn it.
Sorry.
She's coming for you.
So,
yeah.
Are we bringing back the 1-star reviews?
Yeah. Just anonymous. Yeah.
No, it would be signed Christine.
Oh yes, P.S. Yeah.
Spell my name properly.
Yeah. So we had, I think on her, it was her first deadlift that she tweaked her. No, I don't think it was her first deadlift.
warm-ups.
Her warm-up, she came out that she said on her last warm-up she tweaked her back, and I think it was a little bit worse this time too.
Slipped the disc, I think, or something, like something pretty severe.
Yeah.
With the rumbling, the whispers.
The whispers on the street of, One Family Boulevard.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I hope that they're all good in terms of their next meets. I don't think Christina's doing provincials because she did it already, so I don't think she'd like to be doing it again. But yeah, we'll get into like kind of start with our defending champs and how
Sure.
they
Yeah.
placed. So again, with Keystone this year too, we had a buffer for the top three. So in terms of the Keystone point on the coefficient end of things, that their GL improvement was multiplied as. We gave an additional 30% to first, 20% to second, and 10% to third. So Dustin was given that 10%. And in terms of his performance last, so he came in with 92.08, and then he finished with
92.117.
92.117.
He still impressed the hell out of me, but
yeah,
because he put 30 kgs on his total.
Yeah, so that's huge. I think he weighed in just a little bit heavier too.
That had to be it.
Yeah. And so he went. He finished 8th from his 4th spot, and then Janelle came in at 6th, and then finished at 6th. So a very solid performance, and she beat out some monsters here in terms of the top 3. So that was a game here too, and she had a great meet. I think she missed. She missed 2 squats and maybe a bench.
Yeah, 1 bench. That squat jump was interesting, but I noticed a lot people were trying to beat their previous third or their previous best by 2 kilos on their second.
Yeah.
And that didn't work for a lot of people.
Yeah.
It was too big of a jump.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because they wanted initially to beat it and then to add on to it, right?
Exactly. So.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so that's in terms of the defending champs where they place, and then we'll start with the thirds. So the third place for the female, coming in at the 9th spot, and the last lifter that was selected because Renee was the vote-in lifter, Jasmine Porter, and I'm not going to say I was shocked, but I was like to see that. I was very happy to see that she had that performance in terms of piling it on. And again, she's a good indicator of that too. 9 for 9.
9 for 9, huge. But that GL improvement was massive. Massive.
Yeah, because she finished the day off with 350 and 73.9. And she came into the meet with, where is she here? 66.68.
Yeah, 25 kilos on her total. And 9 for 9 was huge. Just very good strategy.
Yeah, very good meet by her coach too.
Didn't look like she was chasing anyone, just trying to have her best meet.
Yeah.
It paid off for sure.
Yeah, I was really pumped to see that. And with our males, our vote-in lifter. The vote-in lifter in the 9th spot, Mr. Ryan Delane. And he had a very, very good meet. 7 for 9, but a 700 kilo total. And he finished the meet with 86.749 GLs, and then came into this meet with 81.
Yeah.
81.87. So a really good improvement by him all around, and showed that he had, and going from 255 missing, and then polling for that 265 for a 3 spot, that's massive. And I think the 265 moved fairly well too.
Yeah, that was a nice lift.
Yeah. And then second for the females, a lifter that got all of her equipment stolen the day before the meet at Brick House. Just I can't think of a less ideal scenario of losing all your gear well, not even losing, getting it stolen. Because if you lose it, maybe you can find it.
Mhm.
But yeah, it getting yanked from her car as she's doing like her last kind of maybe just walkthroughs. So Bailey Jagolik with a massive performance coming in with 74.24 and then finishing the day off with 80.923.
Yeah, and we've been talking a lot about her nationals performance, the
Mhm.
fact that she's one of the only ones that still does equipped.
Yeah.
We wondered how that would translate to her raw
To raw, yeah.
performance, and she just dominated. Like that was
Yeah.
textbook. Like those benches were huge.
Yeah, so it turns out she is getting stronger.
Yeah,
Yeah, because she benched 87 and a half, just missed 90. But yeah, with her deadlift 172, squat 155, just a great day for her, and good coaching again for her to squeak out that second spot. And then for the males, a lifter, I was more people got to talk about this kid, Mr. Ladanian Tyrell.
yeah,
Just an animal of performance, and I was really pumped to see that he had that good of performance after nationals.
yeah.
After not making after not being able to register a deadlift attempt at that big stage. I really wanted him to use like a stage like Keystone that has a lot of energy to kind of throttle that.
Yeah, to put 40 kilos on your total.
Yeah, it was quite the quite the event to put
Yeah.
40 kilos on your total. And with his last one, breaking an open deadlift.
Yeah.
So as a junior, coming in and breaking the open deadlift record of 323.5.
Yeah, like that was like at the Worlds I competed at.
Mm-hmm.
Lane Norton pulled 323.
0.5 or just he's stronger than Lane Norton.
Yeah, so he pulled 322.5.
Yeah.
So the world record has now been broken since, but it was 323 for the master men.
Yeah.
So.
But yeah, a great, and him coming in with 92.16 and ending the day off with 96.41. Like that's like you're gonna have to watch out to Ladanian for the rest of juniors, and to see him coming into open because
he'll be a 100 IPF.
Yeah, he's
GL
gonna be one of the strongest guys in NPA sticking with it. So I'm really excited to see. I was really happy for him to have a good performance. I know he's been itching at it, and he's been wanting that. So I was just pumped to see that. And then the one spot for the females, no one other than a lifter that came in the 4 spot, middle of the pack, the first lifter not to have a booster in their GL point or that buffer, Mrs. Jen Galicia.
Yeah.
Or Galicia. I've been saying it wrong. I think it's Galicia. Yeah, Galicia. So, yeah, a great meet for her and a massive pole to finish on. Jordan Smith coaching her, kind of calculated it perfectly of what was the one lift that would, I think second was secured and what would get her to kind of plateau that. To lock in the first position.
Yeah.
And that was that. I think it was a 185 or was it 187?
185.
185.
So over 400 pounds.
Yeah.
Pull.
And I think she pulled one at provincials. I believe it was 175. So that was just a massive deadlift for her, a 400-pound deadlift. I think that was big for her. And then I think she wanted in the initial interview, she said she wanted a 400-pound deadlift and over a 400-kilo total. And then
she got them both.
Yeah.
So and put 7 GL points on.
Yeah, that is not bad.
I haven't done that in 11 years of powerlifting. I haven't added 7 GL.
And she did it in a year. Yeah, in the 80s, and that's like, I think the average for the females this year was 74.29. So she just kind of ran through that door with 80, 81. And the average for the males was 86.19. So then you can see like Ladania getting 96.41, like just literally beating that by 10 or adding 10 to that. And then our number one spot for the males, our reserve lifter added in.
Mm-hmm.
So this lifter, we had two lifters. One that wasn't able to be there because of a commitment that came up a month prior. So Selmar, I believe, got like 5 or 6 weeks notice.
Wow.
And our last reserve lifter got like 2-3 weeks notice, Tampa Hall.
Mm-hmm.
But Selmar comes in and blows the doors off with monstrous meet for him. Not his overall best GL performance, but he had some missed lifts as well.
Just some good strategy. Like, I think the guy is either the smartest powerlifter or the craziest.
I mean, you got to be one to be the other, arguably.
Yeah.
Because when I look at his performance, the one thing right after squats, what I looked at, because I was like, hey, in terms of my mind, who was sitting where, I saw that he made one. And I was like, okay, he made at least one squat. What do you weigh in at? Because that's what I was wondering.
Yeah.
And he was gunning for the 74.
He wanted that.
He wanted the 74. And to his defense, he was very close. So I think he did everything but like the last little bit.
Yeah.
Because there was no weight categories. But he weighed 0.68 over. So he could have it. It's just a matter about, getting that little bit extra edge. So I think he is a lot closer than prior attempts at 74. But yeah, just a strategy nonetheless of going 1 for 3 on both squat and bench, and then 2 for 3 pulling what he needed to for the win, finishing with 89.13, which from his provincials, what was his provincials, was 82.71. So, and his best wasn't far off from that. His best is like 90.09. So yeah, he's very close to his best GL.
Yeah.
So that's to show that, like, you know what, maybe he's gonna make us eat our words with saying stay at 83.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. He's a big boy.
Yeah.
He's a big boy to compete at 74 repeatedly. Can he handle going 4 for 7 at every meet?
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. If he goes 6 for 9, how does that change his GL? Like,
exactly.
If he makes one more squat of 232 and one more bench at 140, like, his GL is going to be his best GL performance.
Yeah, smaller jump on the squat, he would have hit it.
Yeah.
And then smaller squat. Well, the bench was not.
Yeah, I think the bench was maybe just
being dehydrated.
Maybe that. But yeah, in terms of other notables, I really want to talk about that Riley Bresky 4th place finish.
Yeah, and like we mentioned, or I mentioned, I don't remember. Both those boys, Riley and Ladanian, I said this is the meet they're gonna total over 700.
Yeah, and Riley, that was him. He came out for his first deadlift, but didn't have his deadlift socks.
Oh yes. So then they're like, he'll just do the next one.
Yeah, and then I was like,
yeah.
So I tried to rev up the crowd a little bit more too with being like, hey, he didn't. And I think, did he go up from his?
Yeah, he went up 15 kilos. Like, that's terrifying.
So he must have pulled in the back room.
Yeah.
I would imagine.
Yeah, he's like, I'll just do it back here, 260.
Yeah. Yeah, so, but he's a dog. He's going to have to be watched, definitely, coming into junior territory. And then Dominic Lyon had a great meet again, a very consistent lifter. Andrew was barking at it. Like, he had the heaviest squat in Manitoba powerlifting history, and that's not only unequipped with raw, that's equipped with gear. So that's an insane day. and then just bench wasn't his day for bench, and then his grip just on deadlift just wouldn't cooperate. So not the best day for him, but yeah, uh, an unreal squat performance. And if he was able to tighten the bench and get a third bench or a second bench and deadlift, I think the placement would have been a little bit different as well.
Yeah.
But that's Keystone, Bubba.
And I think, let me just like double check. But we were talking after, and I'm pretty sure he said he's gonna run it back. He's gonna try to beat that total. There's a record he's coming
Oh,
for, and I get too many messages, so I can't. Oh, here he is. Here he is. Let me see here. He first of all he apologized for ruining my prediction.
yeah.
It's fine. It's fine. Next time we'll get him. But he's not going to leave the record total under 2K.
He's coming back.
He's coming back. So he's not just a strong man. He's going to stay a powerlifter for a little bit.
He is a strong man.
And his words, and hopefully this private conversation becoming public.
Oh,
I hope he doesn't.
airing the dirty laundry.
Don't hate me.
Yeah. Hate us 'cause they ain't us.
I need to wipe bend downs off the record books.
Ooh, it's out there. It's out there. You heard it here. Probably not first, but you heard it here as well.
Yeah, yeah.
He's coming for it.
He's coming for it. So I'm
Yeah.
excited to see him break that 2,000-pound total.
Yeah, and he's very close to it. I think I know we maybe juked with the lifters a little bit, because we did, as we were setting up the meet, there was a conversation, that we want to make it the best, not only experience for the lifters, but we also want to make it fair among all the lifters, because there is money. So we wanted to kind of dismantle any arguments, or not even arguments, reasoning why a lifter performed differently or better than another lifter. So originally we were going to have an Alico rack on the platform, but then as we were setting the meet up, we have one MedX and then two Alicos. So then we're like, well, if we have an Alico rack, then there's going to be one group of lifters that warms up for benching, is the only one that really matters, but gets a warm up with the Alico bench, and then bench on the Alico platform. So that's an advantage for money.
Yes.
Maybe on a regular meet, you could be like, it doesn't really matter. But when there's money and it's like a point of a percent of a percent, we're like, you know what? Let's dismantle this argument, level out the playing field, that, there's two ERs, two Elicos in the back room, and then there's a MedX on the platform. And that way, everyone has an even playing field. So we did it like that. And I know there's a couple lifters that were not pleased with that. But that's why we did it. We just wanted an even playing field. Biasly, I do think that the Alico bench is potentially a little bit better, a little bit more rigid,
a little bit stickier.
A little bit stickier. So I do definitely understand why the Alico bench is ideal, but then we didn't want, say, 6 lifters being able to bench and warm up on an Alico and then have that on the platform, and then the other ones doing ER and MedX, even though those lifters probably wouldn't give a shit. But it's just having that, we don't want people to have that. We'd rather everyone be equally upset. Then other people win and then be like, yeah, I got it. But so that's why we did that. But then on the female end, Aracel Taylor, a massive performance by her in the 4th spot. So she had she totaled 440, 89.356 GLs, and so that was, she improved her GLs by almost actually I think 3. Or just about 3 points. So just about 3 points, and a very good day for her. Just missed a 3rd squat, but an unreal day for her, and just missed out the podium. Then we had Renee Vincent your prediction in the 5 spot and had an unreal day. Yeah, I believe she's one of the lifters that went 9 for 9 on a big stage like that.
Yep.
So that's great to see. And then, yeah, in the Janelle at number 6, then we had Kayla and Candice, our 1-2s in the 7-8. And then we had Christina Sodoma and then Taylor Smith that didn't register a total. So overall, like that's a recap. That's a real fun meet.
Yeah, yeah. And on the men's side,
Mm-hmm.
somebody that really impressed me, because I remember saying, Neil, I don't know who you are, right?
Neil Ebrio.
Yeah. I was
Yeah.
like, I don't know who this is. And I still don't know who he is.
Yeah.
But
strong guy.
now I know who he is
Yeah.
because he pulled 280.
Yes.
And he
Yeah.
went
I
for
didn't even say Neil.
295.
Yeah.
Missed it, but still some big numbers from a relatively unknown to me.
Yeah.
83 kg.
Well, you're gonna know his name now.
I know his name now.
Yeah. Yeah, in the 5th spot. I didn't. I jumped over him. But yeah, great.
Oh, and Mr. Fancy Pants, Tom Bahal.
I was just gonna say that.
Yeah,
Man,
we can't neglect him.
Be reminisced. Remiss to say.
Yeah.
But man, that was, and that's, he kind of eclipses more the performance end of it. But in terms of how we did it this year with like the custom walkouts where the names and we have like them walking out, that was like, that looked unreal this year.
Yeah.
But then each lifter gets to choose their song, and I love that. That's one of my favorite things, is to see like what lifters choose.
Yeah.
And seeing Tompa Hall choose like ABBA and like Country Road, and then for his last deadlift attempt, like his first bench attempt, he like bar was loaded and he came sprinting out, sprinting out, gunning. And like, man, and I said this about the energy, but honestly, like, ever since I've been in powerlifting, like the amount of fun that lifters had at that platform, I don't think anyone has more fun than Tom. Maybe Dan, and also Dan baked. He had, I don't know if you want me to say, but he was baking the weekend prior, and then he baked our volunteers like a ton of muffins and cookies. Nice. So like the support for this meet runs deep in terms of the community.
Oh yeah.
And so a big shout out to him. Didn't have to do that at all. So thank you, Mr. Dan, the biggest bencher in Manitoba and Canada, for his weight class. There's only one guy in the open that's stronger than him, and that guy's pretty strong.
Yeah, I guess you have to be.
Yeah. And but yeah, Tom, like, to give a couple weeks notice, and for him, like, he was doing weightlifting like the week of. I saw him like doing behind the neck jerks. And I was like, man, I love this dude. Like, he definitely brought like a lot of what a meet like Keystone can be, and what it's like really about is like, it's all for the lifters. And lifters, they choose songs that amp them up. They choose some songs that make them laugh or show their personality. And Tom was like a little bit of everything. Like, ABBA revs them up, but he's had like his last deadlift like a sing along with the crowd, and then ended his deadlift when the song ended. I was like, this is insane. And like, it just, that was a great just a really fun lifter to have, and I was really excited that he was in it, and I just couldn't be happier with it. But yeah, overall Keystone 2025, again, biased opinion, one of the best meets, if not the best, in CPU this year. The amount of effort, I can't thank the volunteers and like the behind the scenes with like, say, my wife and friends that helped along, Curtis Talaire, just like all the effort that we did to put into this meet it's difficult. No one asked us to do it, so I'm not like saying like we did this, because like nobody asked us to put on Keystone. But to put on a meet like this takes a lot of effort that not is unnecessary, but is unneeded, but is needed for us to, if we want to put on an event like this. So
it takes a vision, right? Like, you gotta have like, this is what I want, and then to have it actually come to fruition is is great, and it's
Mhm.
fun, and it's like it's for the spectators as much as it is for the athletes.
Yeah. Yeah, and the spectators having like horns and shit,
Yeah,
cowbells.
signs. I saw a lot
Yeah.
of signs with like what was her name? Aracel's picture on them.
Yeah, with Keystone, I was like, that's sick. But
Yeah.
yeah, so I can't. And when it comes into fruition with next year, what we're doing, because we have some pretty big plans. So probably a month or two, and like from today, we'll have some announcements for Keystone 2026, and that like if you were blown away this year, hold on to your butts
Hold on to your horses.
because yeah, it's gonna be bigger than the whiteout.
There you go.
You know the Winnipeg whiteout?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you know there's a White House too? A Winnipeg White House?
Oh my! Have you heard of the Winnipeg whiteout?
No.
No.
Yeah, of course I've heard of
Okay,
it.
no, I was like, man.
No, I had one of my clients. I know that this is a long episode. Comes up to me,
Mhm.
she says, "We're in the playoffs."
Yes.
I said,
What are the playoffs?
"No." I said, "I know now. We're in the playoffs." She
Yeah.
said, "We're, I guess, 2 games up or something." I can't remember what it was.
Yes, we are.
I was like, "That's cool. That must be great." She's like, "No, I'm telling you because you should know this to have conversations like a normal person."
You're like,
I was like,
every conversation after that.
Yeah.
Hey, I don't know if you knew
"No,
Winnipeg's
you know
winning.
what I did after that? The Jets lost."
Oh.
So then I just went and told everyone the Jets lost.
Yeah.
I was like, "Did you hear
Yeah.
the Jets lost?"
Damn, Jets lost. Hey, rough. You're like, yes, I know. I
It's
know,
over.
guys.
It's over.
Sports. Yeah, the Jets lost. It's all over, right? Like, no, it's a game of 7, best of 7. You're like, oh fuck, I don't even know what that means. Yeah.
Oh man.
Yeah, and the game's today.
There you
Or
go.
actually, the game was yesterday at noon.
Yesterday.
And because this is gonna come out tomorrow. This is gonna come out on Monday. You're listening to this. Any predictions for the game that happened on Sunday?
We won 5-3
That's a good score.
in overtime. Is there overtime?
How
Or
do you win
shootout?
5-3 in overtime? How do you win by 2 in overtime? It'd
Uh,
be by 1. So that'd be a first time in history. A
If it
team wins by
happens.
2. Whoa.
Okay, I don't know. So it's just over when they score, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
So well, in overtime there's no shootout, and like a lot of people may not know that, like, because in the regular season there is a shootout
Yeah.
if it goes past 1 overtime, but in the playoffs it's just constant OT, so it could go for like 17 overtimes.
Exciting.
So you think 5-4 or 4-3?
No, I'm stand by 5-3 regular time.
Regular time.
5-3.
That's a good score. That's a good
Yeah.
prediction.
Who are they playing?
St. Louis.
The Blues.
There you go.
The Blues.
He's learning. Look at you.
Yeah.
You're getting into it.
I also saw the Leafs are still in.
The Leafs are in and they're up 3-1.
Yeah, so what if the Leafs win the Stanley Cup?
You know what? I wouldn't, as much as I dislike the Leafs, I would be very excited.
Yeah.
My Oilers.
Mm.
Tough start, going down 2 games.
Mm.
But they won their last game.
Still a chance. They
And
just
there's
need to
still a
win
chance.
3 more.
Good. Jeez, yeah.
I can almost have a conversation
I
about
think so,
hockey.
yeah. I think we'll get there.
Perfect.
Yeah. All right. So that is episode 20. We'll see you next week for our post-provincials
There you go.
predictions.
Manitoba Power, I'm D.
I'm T.
See you in the next one.
It's caught in the crossfire. It's caught in the